We really appreciate her business, and I thought it was going to be a great opportunity for you to hear the experiences that she's looking for as a realtor, engaging in business with a bank, and her personal experience with SunWest. So maybe you can use that in your operations. So Molly, your turn.
Thank you very much. Hi, you have no idea how thrilled I am. That's just such a small, intimate group. I haven't slept in 4 nights. They said, you're going to be speaking to the top producers of SunWest. And I was like, oh my gosh, there's going to be 3,000 people there. So it's a complete honor to have you here today. I'm not going to take a lot of your time. I can see your phones are going off and that you're all busy and we're all busy selling. I want to give you my resume first before I begin, just because I want to let you know that what brought me right here today is not my talents, not my gifts, and not my successes. What brought me here today before you were my failures. When surviving a fire at age 3, surviving a hurricane in 1989, getting licensed in 3 different places, surviving homes to foreclosure, and in absolute desperation, I got on my knees and I just prayed and said, God, I'll go to Walmart. You know, once real estate is in your blood, it's in your blood. And I thought, if I can sell real estate, I can sell anything. In absolute desperation, I was searching for things to do, searching for things to do, praying, trying different things on the internet, looking for ways to make money. I couldn't survive the real estate market, but yet I knew nothing else. I've been doing this since I was a teenager. And all of a sudden, I got a call from one of the owners of Trillion Realty Group, and that is Annie Gonzalez, and the phone call went like this. She called me and she said, I'm looking for someone that speaks English perfectly, with experience and integrity, and I can't get your name out of my head. And I thought, integrity? Me? I'm not paying my bills. What are you talking about? And what she had on the table for me was so huge. When I was trying to sell $100,000 properties, she wanted to put me in a luxury building in Condado, the most expensive property in Puerto Rico. And I thought, this woman's out of her mind. I can't sell $100,000. How am I going to sell luxury? And that's what I wanted to begin with today, because the company I work for, Trillion, they're visionaries. And they don't, when they see a problem or a liability, the first thing they do is, hey, let's go to the other side, let's find the opportunity. And one of the main things that I've learned from working at Trillion Realty Group is teamwork. And to give you an example of the teamwork that I've experienced, first of all, I love to brag that Trillion Realty Group is composed of a Cuban, a Colombian, a Puerto Rican, and American, and we have so much fun. So let me tell you the dilemma I had this morning when I got to work. Gloria, the Colombian, already told me she was doing my makeup. Dada, the banker, came in and said, I'm doing your makeup today. And I was like, who's going to do my makeup? And it is such an incredible feeling to have the person that's standing next to you want the best for you. And that's where we are at Trillion Realty Group. And I asked my boss if we could bring the team, because the team is composed of someone that's completely silent, that sits in the back, he's on the website. We have someone that's not even in Puerto Rico, that is dealing with all the big things above us that we never hear from. We have someone that's just simply in the back corner, shuffling papers, making sure everything's going smoothly. That's Gloria. We have Lourdes, who we call the magic maker. She can write anything, she can put together any spreadsheet, any form that you can possibly imagine. The next desk that we have is Paco. Paco is an expert with people. He has the patience of Job. If you want any report, you go to Paco. If you want details, you go to Paco. Paco will take you from Luquillo to Dorado. He'll drive with you, he'll tell you all the history of Puerto Rico. He deals with our high-end clients, which is what he was created for. The next desk usually is a SunWest rep, which today is Dada, so we'll talk about Dada. I love them all, from John Pierre to Cynthia to Dada to Julia. We all have a great time. But what I love about the teamwork is a lot of times I could be here by myself, and there's nothing worse than being in the model and finding out that someone has just arrived over there and someone else is coming. You don't want them to wait, because if they come here, they come here to buy, at least to look at different options. What the SunWest rep usually does for us, they hold them. They'll start talking to them, they'll give them a little prequel, to the point that I can remember one time not getting back for a long time. Maudi turned him over to me and said he wants a 2-bedroom. And I was like, let's go. And it was as simple as that. So we've learned never to judge. Collaboration. That's really what we're all about. Between Sunwest, Trillion, Putnam Group, it's all about collaboration. What I find is that no one has an ego. No one has an ego. I asked my boss this week, I said, could you tell me what our sales are? I had no earthly idea. Because you know what my boss does? If I have a contract, which I've had for $800,000, and I'm handing it to him, he's like shuffling it to the side and saying, oh, what about this, what about this? It's about the next sale, it's not about the last sale. And when I asked him what were our sales in 2013, he said it was 30 million in Ciudadela only. It was 40 million as a company in 2013. And this year, to date, we are at 40 million altogether in Ciudadela. The main point that I want to make is it's not about egos, it's not about us, it's about the team. Putnam Bridge. The only way I can describe Putnam Bridge, as many of you can see, I don't know if you can feel the power when he speaks. I call him an angel. I mean, it's just someone who dropped out of the sky when Puerto Rico needed it most, and his heart, they wear it on their sleeve. I'm going to be brutally honest. I ask myself, if I was in their shoes, would I be on a yacht in the Mediterranean, or would I be worrying about another country, another economic growth? I don't know that I would be. They believe in strategic partnering, which is exactly what he spoke about. He doesn't worry about the details. He finds the best and he lets them, they let them perform. Actually, we were not first in line for this job. This is a huge honor. They found us after they had already chosen someone else. And the way he said it, he said he listened to his gut. And I think that's what happened when you were talking earlier about you came with just yourself and the others come with this big team. They have such a great talent and gift for reading people, feeling people, and knowing the right partners to choose. They're willing to sacrifice good for better. They want the best. He does not want to be micromanaging banks. They do not want to be micromanaging the sales department. They don't want to be micromanaging the advertising agency. They want us all to do their jobs, because when we all do our jobs, everybody wins. They came to Puerto Rico with a vision, an opportunity, and they quickly fell in love with Puerto Rico. I was ready to call this speech off because I think I made 2 sales already. Luke and Padilla. I asked her, what's his name again? She said, Luis Raul. I said, I thought his name was Padilla.
Some people call me Raul.
And you know, the minute they say, okay, I'm ready, he says, Luis Raul says, I'm done, let's go. I was like, let's call up the speech, let's go sign the contracts. Because the truth of the matter is, I have been doing this since I was 6 years old. Sometimes people giggle when I say that. My father was a developer in 1967 in the Virgin Islands, and at that time there were no telephones. And I don't mean no cellulars, I mean no landlines, no telephones. So he took his 4 children and he put us in the model homes and he went to the bar. He didn't like micromanaging either. So the minute a client would arrive in one of the model apartments, I had to go run and get Dad. So I've been doing this a very, very long time.
You know the feeling,
They believe that they can be profitable and simultaneously opportunities is what makes them stand out. They're not, as he pretty much said my whole speech, they're not greedy. They're not looking to maximize the dollar. Do you know what he said when he closed on the marina? He said, I'm going to make the most affordable housing there is in Puerto Rico. It benefits twofold. It makes a very happy buyer, and it creates volume and momentum. Their main goal, they wear their hearts on the sleeve, and they're all in. They're all in. They packed up their families and they came here. We have a very special opportunity here in Puerto Rico that it's called Act 22. And what Act 22 is, it's a government incentive that entices the very affluent of the nation to come here and receive all kinds of tax benefits, and that's how we get the Pavans and the Putnam Bridge. And yet they may come here thinking they're coming here for a tax benefit, They quickly fall in love. And I love this, Pavan, when they asked you at lunch today, when did you know you were moving to Puerto Rico? And you said, the first day, but I didn't tell anybody. They want to bring hope and prosperity to this beautiful island of Puerto Rico. I just realized someone put my cards out of order. How am I doing?
Doing great.
Okay. I want to talk a little bit about the founder of Trillion Realty Group. She's truly, truly, truly my hero. She had some very, very rough days. I don't know if any of you have ever experienced rough days. Has anybody ever experienced rough days? Try timesing it by 10. She had some very rough days, and she was in an airplane as she tells the story, and she was thinking, how can we overcome this horrible economy? How am I going to come out? And most of us, maybe I was thinking when I went through a difficult time, how can I survive? I mean, I literally was thinking, I'm ready to go to Walmart. She wasn't thinking about survival. She was thinking about thriving. She was thinking, how can I overcome this? And as she tells the story, in 2008, she reflected on how to overcome a horrible economy. Her answer came through an advertisement, and she found it in a magazine, Christie's. She raised the money. She didn't have the money. She went and she knocked on doors and she said, I have this idea. And she risked everything she had to think big and take everything she had. It is a privilege to have been chosen, as they're extremely selective as where they put their brands. Christie's gave her a very rigorous application process that you had to constantly go over this hoop and this hoop, and they made it through. Her daughter, Annie, I call Annie the most brilliant woman I ever met. She's just absolutely brilliant. And she's full of integrity. She's the partner of Trillion. And actually, she's the one who gave me that phone call that day. And just to give you an idea of her integrity, this blew me away. We went on a Christie's convention in the Breakers, and she collects those little hangers on the door that say "Do Not Disturb." Well, the one at the Breakers was really nice. I mean, it was wood and it was nice. She said her mother collects these things. She called the front desk and she said, could I take this "Do Not Disturb" hanger off the door? I said, she's calling to find out if she could take the "Do Not Disturb." I mean, to me that would just seem like, why not? I mean, it wouldn't even occur to me to ask if that's what I collected. I might feel guilty later. So she's a woman of integrity, and she came back to Puerto Rico, which is one of Nick's primary objectives, is to bring the talent back to Puerto Rico instead of this feeling of to make a better life, because Puerto Rico is one of the most education-oriented societies I've ever been in. It's an embarrassment. Oh, what college are you in? Where do you go to school? What did you study? Oh, you have your master's, your doctorate. Education is very important. So she went off. She has all kinds of degrees that it would take me too long to enumerate. She worked for 2 multinational companies. She worked for Exxon and Merck. She came back to her family business and she implemented all the systems and knowledge, which was such a great synergy between the experience of her parents and the knowledge and the technology and the website and everything that she was able to bring to the table. When she and her mother teamed up in Trillion, it was a powerful duo that is unsurpassed in skill, talent, and experience. Next, I want to touch on Sunwest. I've been in the business in Puerto Rico since '95, and I have been to several closings where I went to the closings and they did not have the check for the real estate agent for me. They forgot to put it on the settlement statement. And it was the same bank repeatedly, and I really was insulted. I felt so undervalued. I felt undervalued. And one of the things that I love is Sunwest really focuses on using real estate agents, going to new developments, and they think big also because they think volume. If they can build relationships with real estate agents, they will have the volume. And it's so it's a relief that I don't have to know everything. I don't have to know the engineering of the building. I don't have to know the interest rate. I don't have to know anything. I can just smile and have fun. And that's what I call walking in your lane. And that's what I really want to give credit to Trillion for, is they really know how to put the people in their right roles to maximize each of our talents. And sometimes if some of the girls in the back don't show up, I offer my services and they told me to keep out. The value of a real estate agent. What is the value that a realtor adds to a mortgage institution? Realtors have access to a large pool of ready buyers. Don't ever diminish the value of a great relationship with a successful realtor. For me, I remember I was mentioning earlier, I used to use this banker. I even felt like I had to use her for my first few years. Once you start developing a relationship, it's almost betrayal to go use another banker. You know, that's the way I felt. So it's very important to value your relationships with your realtors. We establish limits on the buyer's expectations. You know, buyers come in and they think they can have the world, and then we put them into reality, and you know, so by the time that they get to you, they already have a good idea of what they're looking for. We also assist in the process to expedite the sale, especially Trillion. What I wanted to say is, I'm giving you why I love my company so much. I equate it to working for Burger King. Everybody is on their base. It's very streamlined. It's a very, very tight recipe. And we can expedite the process. For instance, the bank may be calling the client for documents, but we're already behind them looking for the documents too. So we know exactly when someone says, oh, I'm out of town, or oh, you're going to get it on Tuesday. Trust me, Tuesday at noon, we're receiving a call from our office saying, you said you were going to bring that in today. Where are you? And this is why I want to commend Dada. My son is 23. He bought his first property here. And I think it was Sunwest's longest case in the pipe. Because he's self-employed and he works in Central and South America, he was never here. So it was always documents, and I wanted to throw my hands up and give up quite frequently. But Dada said, come on, Molly, we can do it. And by the time we got to the last document, his first ones had expired. And Dada hung on and had faith, and it was really a true success once we closed with him. We also assist the appraisers. I don't know how it works in the States, but in Puerto Rico, by the time a comparable sale makes it to the central directory, it could be months. So the appraisers really rely on us for recent data. And the steps of the process from the first vision to the option. What I do as a real estate agent, this is my step. I start very enthusiastically. When you love what you do, when you love the product you're selling, when you truly believe, you're crazy not to buy. My son, from beginning to end, when I did the math, from beginning to end, he optioned with $3,000, he brought $2,500 to closing, he got a check for $4,900 I think he bought with less than $1,000. That's his first home at age 23 with no property tax, and a mortgage of $1,096. So the other day I'm sitting by the pool at the Ritz-Carlton with all his friends, and I'm like, we're getting married in November, we want to look for a house. I'm like, no, have you thought about seeing that? Really? Are you telling me the truth? Because when I bought my first car, my first Dodge Chrysler, all I wanted to know was two things: how much down and how much a month, and let me sign on the dots. We ask them questions like, is it an investment or a residence? We ask them what their price range is. We ask them, how soon would you like to be living in the home? We give them a full orientation of the pros and cons, and the most important thing we do after we give the full orientation is we lock the door and we don't let them out. We ask for the option. You guys are great. Keep laughing. I got David in the back there laughing. I've got two more. I don't know if you guys are.
No. Take your time.
It's
very late.
The realtor is the key partner between the developer and the bank. The developer needs to develop. The realtor needs to sell. It is vital to have a developer that gives the real estate company the ability to be somewhat autonomous. The developer needs to hire the best. The developer can't be worried about cost. He needs to be solely concerned with results. Let us perform. The bank needs to lend. The realtor needs to bring buyers and sellers together. How does the realtor streamline the lending process to achieve the closing? The realtor works with spreadsheets and goals. We have a huge spreadsheet. That's one of the secrets I'm not supposed to tell. And it has everything on there. You know, what date you brought this, what date you need to bring this with. And the realtor works closely with the spreadsheets and the goals. The minute the buyer sits down, we give them 2 dates. the date they have to choose their bank and start the process, and the date that they have to close by. Deadlines are vital, especially in Puerto Rico, because there's mañana. Just how it is.
Yeah. There's always mañana.
We stay on top of the missing documents, and we go the extra mile to assist the buyer in obtaining missing documents. I'm going to close with 2 things, and then I'm going to let you guys go and make some money. How's that sound? Yesterday, I took my son to a podiatrist, physiatrist, something for his foot. And as he's knocking his foot, he says, "So, what are you going to study?" And my son said, "Real estate. I'm going to be a real estate agent like my mom." And he knocked him really hard. He said, "What would you want to do something dumb like that for?" He was serious. He said, "Why would you want to be a real estate agent in this market?" My son was 18. He says, "Well, I don't know. My mom's doing great. My mom's working 6 days a week. I never see my mother." And just very casually, he turns back to me and he says, "What are you talking about?" I said, "Oh, yeah. You know, we've sold 40 million in the last year." He said, "Ciudadela." And I left writing the website. He said he's looking for a place for his son, and I left writing the website. People still think in their head, oh, real estate is bad. But when something is priced right, when you have the right financing terms, when you have a tax-exempt property, you have to educate them. You have to show them we're sitting in the land of opportunity. The last thing I want to say is we're very blessed. And when I say we're very blessed, I look at Carolina standing next to Nick. I look at Brunel standing next to Jeremy. I look at all of you standing next to Ivan. I'm fortunate to be next to Mr. the Gutierrez family. We are getting educated, we are getting knowledge, and I take notes. I don't take anything lightly. I hear everything. I hear what people say. And over the past 14 months since we've been at Ciudadela, I want to just tell you what I've learned. Nick Prouty, his quote that really resonated with me is, "We believe in Puerto Rico." It's so refreshing. A lot of times in the street, you'll hear people say negative things about Puerto Rico. And you guys get off the plane and you're like, "This place is wonderful. I love this place. I love this place." Can't say enough wonderful things about Puerto Rico. The medical care is great. The colleges are great. The medical care is inexpensive. I mean, they're talking about making this a medical destination. It's easy to get to. The weather's fantastic. I think whatever you can find negative, I think it's hard for me to really locate. Jeremy Griffith said at our Christmas party, this is Mr. Nick Prouty's partner, he just looked up. He doesn't say much. He's from New England, or from England. He doesn't say much, and he looked and he said, "It's all about people." And when you see the care that we all have for each other, the love, the respect. Actually, when Mr. Prouty was speaking and he says, "When we have our differences," I was like, "You do?" You know, I feel like I live in a utopia because I've never seen any strife. My boss, Letty, who unfortunately couldn't be with us today, her quote, which enables me to think big, is she says, "In life you have to be on a mission to accomplish your vision." When you have a vision, you have to treat it like it's a mission. As Mr. Prouty said, it's the sense of urgency. We all have to have a sense of urgency. Trillion's vision is to generate economic growth through real estate development. So I hope I've given you some insights, some tips, and I hope you've learned something today. And it's really been an honor having you here, so try to have fun.